Hello students, today we will be discussing about the valence bond theory. This valence bond theory was developed by or it was explained by Pauling. Now the basic assumptions of this theory are, the first point says that the metal ligand bond arises in a coordination compound. The metal ligand bond arises by the donation of pair of ligands to the metal atom. Ligand will donate its electrons to the metal atom, resulting in the formation of a coordinate bond. Second point is that vacant orbitals must be present on the central metal atom or the ion. So when the ligands are donating these electrons to the metal, what should be their vacant orbitals should be present on the central metal atom. Third point states that depending upon the total number of bonds the central metal atom forms, it forms equivalent orbitals called what? Hybrid orbitals. And the hybrid orbitals overlap with the ligand orbitals. And the ligand orbitals, what is their function? They can donate electron pair for bonding. And similarly, what happens? Outer orbital and inner orbitals are formed. Now, what is this outer orbital? Outer orbital means high spin orbitals, and when we say inner orbital, that means low spin orbitals are formed. Now these are the basic postulates of which valence bond theory. Now there is a simpler way to understand the valence bond theory. So let us see an easy way to learn the valence bond theory. We know that in the case of a coordination compound, as said, the ligands will donate their electrons to the metal. So the first thing that we should do is that we should find out the oxidation state of our central metal, or we should find out the oxidation number of the central metal ion. Second, we should see what type of ligand is attached to the metal atom. Now when we say what type of ligand, we can classify the ligands in this case as weak field ligand and strong field ligand. What do you mean by this weak field ligand? In the case of weak field ligand, there will be no pairing will be taking place, or we can say that weak field ligands, they cannot pair. Whereas in the case of a strong field ligand, what will be there? The strong field ligands are capable of pairing, or pairing will takes place. Now if we consider the case of weak field ligand, we have F minus, Cl minus, Br minus. All this comes under the category of weak field ligand. Now in the case of strong field ligand, an example is Cn is a strong field ligand. Similarly, CO is a strong field ligand. Now how to know whether a given ligand is a weak ligand or a strong field ligand? It depends upon a series which is known as spectrochemical series. Now what is the spectrochemical series? In the spectrochemical series, the ligands are arranged in the increasing order of the ligand field strength. So an easy way to find out the geometry or the magnetic property of a coordination compound using this VBT is that first we have to find out the oxidation state of the central metal atom. Then we have to see what type of ligand is attached, whether it is a weak ligand or a strong ligand. So let's first move to an example. Our first example is NiCN4 2 minus. We have already learned the nomenclature. So what will be the name of this compound? It is tetracyanonickelate 2 ion. Now how to find out the oxidation? We have to find out the oxidation of the central metal atom. X plus, here 4 ligand is that. Cn is what? It is a negative ligand, we know. So it is given as what? It is minus 2. So we have X equal to minus 4 is equal to this one, this one. X, we have minus 4 equal to minus 2, or our X equal to what? It is equal to plus 2. So what is the oxidation state of the metal ion? It is plus 2. So we know that the configuration of nickel, we can write it as what? Ar 3D8 4s2. The configuration for nickel is Ni 3D8 4s2. Now again we have seen that this is the ground state configuration. You can see here what is the oxidation state of nickel? It is plus 2. So when we say about the plus 2 oxidation state, what will happen? The 2 electrons will be removed from that. Apart from 4s, there is also what? It has 4p, 4d, all these are present. Now nickel in the +2 oxidation state means we can write it as Ar. What is that? It will be only 3d8 and this one will become what? 4s0. Now we can represent this one. It can be written as the d orbitals can be represented in this manner. So we can represent it in this way. What is that? 3d8 and this one is what? This is 4s0. Now you see what type of ligand is given here. Here our ligand is Cn. Cn comes under what? It is a strong ligand that we have already discussed. It is a strong ligand. So what happens in the presence of a strong ligand? In the presence of a strong ligand, these 3d orbitals are forced. What is there here? These are the unpaired electrons of the 3d orbitals. So these are forced to pair because why? Because there is a strong ligand Cn minus ion. So how can we represent it? Thus we can represent this one as, thus it can be represented in this manner. Now you see how many ligands are there? 4 ligands are there. So the pairing has taken place because of the presence of what? Presence of a strong ligand. Now the 4 ligands are to be accommodated. So how can we accommodate the 4 ligands? 1, 2, 3 and 4. Now the 4 ligands have been accommodated. So this is our 4 ligands. Now this one is our 3d orbital, this one is our 4s and this one is our 4p. So the d orbitals, what are the d orbitals used? 1 d orbital, 1 s orbital and how many p orbitals? 2 p orbitals are used. Thus we can say that it undergoes which type of hybridization? It undergoes dsp2 hybridization, forming what? Forming 4 equivalent dsp2 hybrid orbitals. And thus you can see here no unpaired electron is present. So since no unpaired electron is present, our complex will be what? Complex will be diamagnetic. So what is tetracyanonucleotide complex? It is diamagnetic in nature, and because of the dsp2 hybridization, what is that? This complex will be having a square planar geometry. So we can say that this valence bond theory is used to explain what? The magnetic property and also the hybridization and geometry of a coordination compound. Hope this example is clear. Let's move on to another example. The second one. What is the name of this compound? It is hexafluorocobaltate 3 ion. Here what is our central metal ion? It is the cobalt. Atomic number is 27. So in the ground state the configuration is what? It is 3d7 4s2. Now let us see what is the oxidation number for the central metal atom. Let cobalt be X plus 6. It is a negative ion. Minus equal to minus 3, or we will be getting what? X equal to plus 3. So what is the oxidation state? It is plus 3. So the cobalt plus 3 ion can be represented as, what will be the configuration? You see 2 electrons will be removed from this and 1 electron from this one. So our configuration becomes what? It becomes 3d6 4s0. So how to represent the atomic orbital for this cobalt 3 plus ion? Thus we can write it as, how many electrons are there? 6. So it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and what is that? It is 6. This one is the atomic orbital for cobalt 3 ions. Now let us see here. What is the ligand given here? Here the ligand given is F, fluoro 1. This is what? This is a weak ligand. So when weak ligand is that, what will happen? There will be no pairing will be there. So in the case of weak ligand, since there is no pairing, what will happen? Here no pairing will be taking place. So how can we represent it? The 6 ligands. How many ligands are there? You can see here 6 ligands are here. So the 6 F minus, where it will be coming? They will be thus coming under this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you see here, what is the hybridization here? It is 1s, 3p and 2d. So in this case, what is the hybridization? It is sp3 d2 hybrid orbitals are formed. Now here what is that? It is a weak ligand and you can see that unpaired electrons are present in this complex. So we can say what about the magnetic property? it forms a paramagnetic complex. Or in this case, what is the magnetism? It is paramagnetic. Why it is paramagnetic? Because of the presence of unpaired electrons in the 3D orbitals. Now you see here, what is the hybridization? Hybridization is sp3d2, and thus it will have an octahedral geometry. The geometry in this case will be what? Octahedral geometry. Now you can see here, while discussing the assumption of valence bond theory, we had seen that outer orbital and inner orbital complexes are formed. Now, what do you mean by this outer orbital and inner orbital complex? You can see here that in this case, what is that? The formation of complex involves d orbitals of what? D orbitals of outer shell. This is the d orbitals of inner shell, and this one is the d orbitals of outer shell. And thus, we can say that what is forming here? Here an outer orbital, or outer orbital is also known as what? It is also known as high spin complex is formed. So the presence of a weak ligand results in the formation of an outer orbital or high spin complex. Similarly, in our previous problem, we had seen that the inner d orbitals are involved. So in this case, since the inner d orbitals are involved, we can say that it forms what? It forms an inner orbital. It forms an inner orbitals. Now let us take one more example to understand this VBT more clearly. Let us take the example for tetracarbonyl nickel. Now in this complex, what is that? The oxidation number of nickel can be represented as, it is 3D8,4S2. And here you can see that in this complex, what is that? The oxidation state is 0. So in this case, what will be happening? We can write the configuration as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is our 3D8, and here what is that? Here 4 is 0. Now in this case, the atomic orbitals of nickel, the oxidation state is 0. So what will be happening here? Under this condition, you just see what type of ligand is there. Carbonyl ligand is what? Carbonyl ligand is a strong ligand. So what will be happening here? The 4s electrons are forced to pair with what? Pair with 3d electrons. Thus we can represent it as like this. Here what will be happening? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and this electron will pair with this one. So it will be 8, and the 4s electrons from this are forced to move to the d orbitals. And thus we will be having the pairing like this. Now how many CO groups are there? 4 CO groups is there. Now each CO group donates a pair of electrons. So we can represent it as 1, 2, 3 and 4. So 4 CO group will donate a pair of electrons, and thus this one is our 4s, this one is our p, and this one is our 3. So what will be our hybridization? It will be thus sp3 hybridization. And since there is no unpaired electrons in this complex, it will be diamagnetic in nature. It will be diamagnetic in nature, and in this case the hybridization is sp3. And the sp3 hybridization results in the formation of what type of complex? It leads in the formation of tetrahedral complex. So sp3 hybridization, and it forms a tetrahedral complex. Now let us take one more example. Let us take the example for CrNH3 6 3 plus. Now you see in this case, what is the name of the compound? It is hexaamine chromium 3 ion. You just try to do this one, and let me give you a hint. You see whether you are getting this one or not. The hybridization for hexaamine chromium will be, it will be a D2sp3 hybridization. Okay, let us do it. So when we are taking the case of chromium, what is the configuration for chromium? It will be 3d5 and 4s1. What is our configuration? 3d5 4s1. Now our complex is CrNH3 6 3 plus. The first step that we have to do is what? We have to find out the oxidation state of the central metal atom. Now you can do it. It will be X plus neutral ligand equal to +3, and thus for chromium, what is the oxidation state? It will be +3. Now when we are writing chromium +3 ion, how can we write the configuration? One electron will be removed from this one. So it will be 4s0, and 2 electrons will be moving from this one. So it will be what? It will be 3d340. So how can we represent the atomic orbitals for this one? The case of d orbitals are there. So it will be 1, 2, 3. The 4s orbital. And here we have the 4p orbital. We are representing this one for what? This one for chromium 3 ion. Now you see here what is given here. Here NH3 is our what? NH3 our ligand. Now this ligand can provide how many electrons? It can provide 6 are there. So each one will be providing a pair of electrons. So how can we write it? Here we can represent it like this in this way. Here we have 3D 1, 2, 3. This one is our for 3D orbitals. We have 4s and we have 4p orbitals. So each, how many NH3 is there? 6 NH3 is there. So each one will be providing a pair of electrons. So we will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So you can see that what is that? 6 coordinate bonds will be formed by the donation of 6 pair of electrons. So our hybridization will be 2 d orbitals are used, 1 s orbital and 3 p orbital. So our hybridization is what? It is d2sp3 hybridization. Now what about the magnetic property? Yes, here since 3 unpaired electrons are there, this complex will be what? It will be paramagnetic in nature. Our complex will be paramagnetic in nature. And since D2sp3 hybridization is there, what will be the structure of the complex? The structure will be octahedral. In this case, the structure geometry will be what? Octahedral, and this complex will be what? It will be paramagnetic in nature. Now these two are the practice question. You have to find out whether these two complexes are paramagnetic or diamagnetic. That is, you have to find out the magnetic property of this complex, and also you have to find out the type of hybridization involved in these two complexes. Hope these things are clear. Thank you.